of anyone now. I think it was either us or 100 Thieves that would have won the tournament, and since they're out, I think it's only us. So
Yeah, so no more.
I don't think we're gonna drop the game. So.
Well, it definitely looks like they're in the shape to make good on those promises. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 3 here in our best of 5 between Evil Geniuses and Cloud9. This is not looking pretty for C9. EG has now dismantled them twice in a row.
I mean, it's one of those situations where the quote sounds really cocky until you're like, maybe he's just right.
Dude,
Maybe
I
they're not gonna
love
lose a game.
I love trash talk before the series.
Before.
Anybody can run their mouth
After,
after they win. You got to really be a Chad to run your mouth beforehand, and that's the best stuff.
Controversial take.
Okay.
I still appreciate it afterwards. Any pro players watching this right now, if you stomp someone and you didn't run your mouth beforehand, you can still run it afterwards.
You can still do it, but it's way less cool.
Save that
I
ammo
don't disagree.
and run it before your next game.
I still, listen.
Remember last time when I stomped you?
Listen, the entire community is full of this kind of talk on Reddit. Like, oh, you got to smack talk before the game. BS, you can smack talk whenever you want, and I appreciate it.
Smack talk gets at least a 50% efficiency bonus if you do it before the start of the game.
It is
all right?
cooler.
Still better than no smack talk.
All right, fair enough.
I'm with you on that one.
Fair enough. Okay, let's jump into the draft here. Let's see what we got going on. Cloud9's going to ban out Senna and Diana. Caitlyn and Corky banned away from EG. And with that Corky ban, Mark, you and I were talking between the games. You have some critical points here for Fudge.
I feel like he's a two-trick right now a little bit.
Okay.
And I think that's the read that EG honestly has as well. They leave up the TF. That doesn't look like it's something they're going to prioritize. They ban out the Corky, and then in that draft, the one that just happened, Jad was talking about, oh, they didn't take Thresh with Aphelios. It's also because I think EG has the read that if you took the Victor away, what is Fudge going to play? And he tried the Lux, and it looked awful. There has been a giant mid-gap this series, and if he doesn't get his hands on the Corky or Victor, I don't know what else they do.
One thing I'm confused about, though, is they could have actually just first picked the Victor, right? Like, you can be willing to do that. Again, on blue side, they just banned the Victor. You don't need to first pick a Jinx or whatever. You can actually just first pick. And this time they're first picking Udyr, which to me, it's so Chemtank Udyr is pretty strong right now as a jungler, but it's not something that you need to first pick. There's no priority on this champion at all. So they could have just left Victor up, got first pick Victor, unless EG was willing to ban it instead of the Karma. Then if they ban it, then you can take Karma first. You can still get the Udyr later. So I've got to say, unless they're trying to do something really weird and tricky and it's like somehow a top lane Udyr, I just don't get how you're getting value out of being on blue side when Udyr is your first pick.
I'm trying to come up with something. You got to give me a minute. Captain Flowers, Phil, while I try and rack my brain for the reasoning behind this.
All right, I'm just saying,
pick.
if this is church, then the Bible's written in a language I can't read, because I'm not understanding this choice here in the draft. I would love to be proved wrong. I would absolutely adore it, but with Akshan and Tryndamere both locked in,
and they just
this is quickly getting spicy,
They blinded both their soul laners, so it's very likely, I mean, these are flex, so there is that value. Trin and Akshan can both be, mid or top. It is going to be Udyr jungle, Chemtank, almost guaranteed. And it'll be interesting to see what the answer is actually going to be. Impact looking like he'll just take tank Gragas up towards that top side. Whether he's against the Tryndamere or the Akshan, you can stack armor. You could be okay with that. I wonder if Sven will go like a Ziggs here. And because if I was EG, I would immediately be banning out some of the AP farming bot laners like Ziggs. That is obviously the one that has been played the most from competitive, but Swain as well as Veigar are also quite popular in solo queue. So if this is me, I'm banning Veigar and I'm banning Ziggs, but instead they're gonna go for the Yuumi, which I think is kind of interesting.
I think one other way to potentially think about it is like you just don't care about your 5v5 when you take Akshan and Tryndamere together.
Yeah, but Ziggs enables the split push.
Yeah, but you can also just never group anyways. If they're going to stack armor, let them stack armor. They're going to do it anyways, most likely for the lane matchup a little bit. And you just ignore the Gragas and hit turrets and minions anyways. So that's my read on why EG might not want to ban the Ziggs, because otherwise I agree. You think you'd get rid of this one super obvious thing.
Well, we've got the Twisted Fate banned out from C9, so they're saying we've already got both of our solo laners. We don't want anything that can easily affect those side lanes as much, so they don't want JoJo being able to pilot that. Will EG ban out the No? Instead, it's going to be another Enchanter, so double Enchanter support ban in Phase 2 for EG.
It's really interesting. I've got to say, I'm pretty surprised. I mean, maybe, to me, if you're banning Yuumi, you're expecting like a Jhin. That pairing is really, really popular. It could also be something like an Ezreal. But I do think banning out things like Ziggs is so strong because it allows you to actually punish their mid lane with your 5v5 as EG. You know, if you have a Ziggs that's just perma wave clearing, then Tryndamere can just split push forever, and that is something that they have to worry about. But C9 may not even go towards one of those AP mages for the bot lane.
I think the other thing about the support bans is it stops enabling the Udyr. It's a kind of an Udyr focus, and so they're saying we're worried more about the top side of the map. We don't want to enable the Udyr, and even the Tryndamere a little bit. If you're able to hop a Yuumi on top of them, that's really annoying. And so they're more turning off the win conditions they've seen so far than worrying about a new one, I guess.
Yeah, everybody on Cloud9, all three of these champions so far, they're all able to hold their own in a 1v1. They're all powerful in a situation where they don't have help, and they can get away easily. Karthus now picked up, so they're going to have that for the bottom lane.
Oh, there you go.
Along with the Nautilus. It's like you guys were saying, get a mage, get something that can just spam down the waves and hold the line.
You have to do something like that, especially with the Ryze coming through. It's almost guaranteed to be tank Ryze. Maybe he will pivot because there's a Karthus in the game now, but tank Ryze is really, really strong. Yes, it's not as high DPS as if you just go pure damage, but it's so easy to go, you know, Fimbulwinter, Frozen Heart, you know, all these sorts of things, even like Tabby's on top in a game like that, and become impossible to kill for a physical damage heavy team. Gragas is obviously going to be stacking armor here too. Braum is going to be relatively tanky, you know, even high value for Tabbies for someone like Inspired. So armor still has incredible value here for EG. The Karthus coming through does kind of put a bit of a wrench in the gears because you have to pay respect to that ultimate cross map and also just the massive zone of AoE that you can put out in a team fight.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than the Ziggs in the sense that the Ziggs has a little bit better wave clear and in your
a lot safer
as well. But the Karthus, you could argue, is a little bit better for enabling the side laners because while Ziggs can technically huck his ultimate across the map, it's kind of easy to get out of. And realistically, you know, people are not going to get hit by that. Karthus ult, yeah, getting hit. There's no way around it unless you have a stopwatch or something.
Well, I mean, Cloud9's draft is very derivative from what a lot of people would have been expecting coming into this third game here. Plenty of split push power. You've got Karthus and you've got Nautilus to try to hang out together and stop the tide, but everything from EG looks very traditional.
Yep. EG is playing pretty straight up. I do think the Ryze gives you a splash of side lane to answer the Tryndamere because you have to have something that can be going out towards the side lane. Early game will be answered by this Gragas. Once the Ryze gets some items, he's going to go to the side lane and just answer this Tryndamere. You have really good wave clear. You can go this armor stacking build that makes it so hard for Tryndamere to actually punish you. I think this is a super hard comp for C9 to execute into what EG has drafted. I just straight up think EG's comp is way better. The scaling, you know, from Danny in the bot lane, the side laning for Jojo Pian, I think is almost impossible for a Tryndamere to punish, and you have really good engage there as well. So C9's pretty much all in on 1-3-1, and you better hope you get ahead.
So one thing that I do want to point out here, because I talked about it a little bit in previous games, is we do have two of our solo laners, three of our solo laners actually, with no teleport this game. Darshan with Ignite, Fudge with Ghost, Jojo Pune with Ghost. Sven, however, does have a teleport, so there will be 1 versus 1 on the TPs here. Also, first strike on Karthus. A lot of times when you see this, it means he's going to be pressing R on cooldown to farm money.
Yeah, it's a part of the kit that you don't see talked about enough with the first strike. A lot of times it's poke, so you have to activate it first. But you forget that for 3 seconds afterwards, I believe it is, 10% of your damage gets converted into extra bonus damage, it's post-mitigation damage, and then you get that in gold once that 3 seconds ends. And so Karthus can actually just spam R, get a lot of gold over the course of it while increasing his own damage. So it is something that we haven't seen yet. I was excited to talk about First Strike on non-poke champions for quite a while. Talon Jungle ended up getting nerfed. We didn't get to see it, but it is a utilization of the rune.
I will say, you know, fully spamming it does get a little bit weird because it's like, that's a long cooldown. It's like a 2-minute cooldown here. So you need to save it at least somewhat for kill pressure. And Darshan's going, you know, full on Akshan solo queue style, Ignite, PTA. You're playing to not allow this guy to get XP. You know, and this is how you have to do it. You have to kind of really get at him. He's zoning him off experience right now. So if we could click on impact, if the observers are hearing me, that would be great to see if he's actually getting experience off those melee minions, because that is really what that first wave play is about.
And the one thing that I want to point out too, I love the fact that EG was aware, okay, it's a top laner with Ignite, it's the fact that he's playing Akshan, he's going to go for some sort of cheese, so make sure you're ready to protect Inspired if the red buff gets sieged early.
And I'll be honest, Cloud9 look like they're getting slammed in this series. And I think this is a throw the playbook out the window. Let's do something crazy. Let's force them into these non-normal game states and see if we can pick up a win through split push. Because as a team, EG is way more coordinated than us. They're better in the 5v5s, and we just need to do something different rather than just draft another straight 5v5 team comp.
Plus, guess what? Tryndamere is a top laner. Fudge will have experience playing that. You know, if you're new on role swap, you know, he looks very proficient on Victor and Corki, but you know, you're probably focusing on learning those champions that you think are going to be most popular in the meta first. So when you're getting targeted in bans, it can be more difficult. So this is a champion that he will have a lot of experience on. It was pretty popular around Worlds last year. It was very popular for a while in solo queues, so definitely know he's going to have games in on it. And honestly, beyond the early laning phase, you move out to side lanes anyway, and then you're literally just playing top lane Trinity.
Speaking of solo queue experience on it, as Fudge takes a little trade there, I was checking quickly. I did not see Sven with any. I didn't see Sven with any Karthus games.
They have the read on this though. Braum is coming up here. They'll see if they can kill Impact. They gotta kill him before he gets 3.
Yeah, Impact is trying to keep alive on this one. He goes for the body slam and flash combo, but it is first blood over to Cloud9. Blabber's gonna get tagged up and Vulcan gets the follow-up kill. Darshan with the flash away, barely survives being chased after by Inspired. 1-for-1 play.
It's worth, but it's not that worth, to be honest, because the problem here is that Darshan didn't actually get that kill, and you're really trying to abuse this matchup. They do deny a lot of CS, and it's a horrible first buy for Impact, so that is good. He's going to be down some experience as well, but remember, he is not playing TP, so he has to take this long walk back to lane. But I like the aggressive move, because if you're playing Ignite top lane, you need to get the TP out immediately, and looking for a dive like this can be super effective.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate on the bot side that Karthus Nautilus is not going to be able to punish the Jinx left alone as kind of the opportunity cost for covering that dive. But you saw Isle move onto the map, drop a couple wards in the bot lane, make sure the Karthus will be kind of safe against the Xin. Now, especially with the flashes down, so many flashes burn to actually get in range for that one cleanup kill. I'd still say net positive play for C9 and a better start to the game than we've seen so far, because in the first 2 games, it was basically losing since minute 1.
Yeah. I mean, this was a really good play still, right? Because he had to base with 3 CS, and it just means you don't really have a lot going for you. I think he had Futures Market is probably the only way he actually was able to.
Yeah.
He got assist money as well.
He got assist money as well. You know, obviously you have some passive income, but he was able to afford the tier on 3 CS, so probably had Futures Market, I guess. Either way, you know, is avoiding a total disaster situation.
Right.
But if Darshan can now pin him in this lane, he has a much better buy, really start trying to punish Impact. It's the second base that you really punish these TP top laners on. So we'll see if they can get back up there and get a kill on Impact, shove in the wave, bounce it, and really try to extend the advantage for Darshan, because if this stays in parity for the next couple of minutes, Darshan's not going to get enough out of the lane.
Yeah, I still think it's interesting how EG is responding to this. Vulcan's been very proactive with his double buffs, moving around the map, and this is what you kind of want to do with the low pressure lane that you're playing against. Don't necessarily just sit at turret and chip it down. You're more worried about this side lane getting enabled, and so Vulcan trying to get involved. What's really interesting to me is what's going to happen at 6. Is he going to be able to get up there? Because all Sven has to do is press R to help with these dives in the future.
Yep. Bottom side here. Hook comes out from Isles. He'll only make his way onto Vulcan there. Danny's still just fine. The wave gets shoved up. You can see once again, Blabber's going to look for this top side. Impact is far forward. He has no flash. You would think this would look pretty easy for Cloud9 to pick this one up. Darshan comes jumping in on through with the grappling hook. Fudge is making his way over, but Jojo Pune's joined up in the fight now as well. They'll only put damage onto the Tryndamere, and it does not matter. Darshan picks up the first kill of the game for himself.
That's really, really big. Getting the kill there. We'll see if he wants to try to full shove the wave and reset. Or if he's actually just going to try to hold it here. Looks like he is just trying to hold and deny. He won't be able to spend with this answer, but it will deny some more CS. There's a lot of range minions there, so he can hold a full freeze if he wants to pull it to the brush. He's also up on XP, so C9 do get back up there. They're going to be feeling really good. And this is the time in this lane when you're playing against an Ignite top laner where you really start to feel scared, because Impact has no TP, you're still down flash, and you know his Ignite has come back up.
Yeah, we see Fudge getting a pretty good trade on the Jojo here.
Oh, he's going in.
Lane. He's got ult still.
Okay.
Never mind. Ghost.
Not going all the way in. Yeah, he got the ghost.
What I was going to say, though, is I like this setup by C9, though, because last week in their CLG series, they abused Jenkins. And so there is some good synergy between Darshan and Blabber finding these repeat kills on an exposed top laner. And Darshan with a lead knows how to push it.
No body slam. He's going to die to the ult.
Darshan's doing it, baby. There we go. The comeuppance gets the kill, and Darshan finds another.
And man, Impact just had to take the L on that one. You have to sit at your tower, or your jungle has to be there. There's nothing you can do in the 1v1 in that situation. It's like I said, that is the most dangerous point in the game right there. We have no TP, no flash. He has ulti, you do not, and he has Ignite. You can't be on the same screen as Akshan, or he's just going to run at you. And in this place, it looks like Darshan probably started this by baiting him, thinking he was actually recalled. So he's hiding in the brush. You see that long-range hook shot. Impact used his body slam early. There's just no way out of this. Full charge ult. You're not near minions. You're not near the tower. That's going to be a kill every single time. And Darshan is way ahead now. 20 plus CS plus the 2 kills. The buy for Impact is horrible.
And we just saw a Flash Force mid on JoJo, who just lost his Ghost as well. Blabber's Flash is coming up soon. There's a potential here for a Flash gank on the mid lane to try and get the Tryndamere going as well, because you have Darshan online. No one's really going to be contesting your Akshan too well right now. If you can shut down the other part of this split push threat in JoJo, if the Rise falls behind, you are unanswered in side lanes the rest of the game.
I mean, this is going to be really exciting now. C9 has a real shot in this game to try to pull this series back. As Impact, you just don't get to have fun this game. You know, you just have to accept it. You're playing for experience pretty much in this point now. You're not playing for gold anymore, but they are going to rotate their bot lane top. They're going to try to take Herald, and they're going to try to break the laning phase here, put Darshan in a situation where he can't just bully this guy forever.
JoJo's walking up the river. Blabber waiting nearby. He wants to come try to contest here with this Rift Herald. The eye is opened up. Blabber still looking at it. There we go. It's going to be secured by the side of EG. Blabber can't get any closer. EG has 5 men top. That means their bottom lane turret is going to get pressured for free by C9.
You feel C9 wanted to go there. They wanted to get Blabber to flash jump on top because Karthus bot lane can still contribute. It's not a straight 4v5, and so they could have gotten the best of both worlds if they could have contested that while farming bot lane, but they just didn't quite have the angle because they got the shove in top lane for EG, which made it a pretty free Rift Herald.
This does work out pretty well, though, because they leave Danny top. They actually TP Impact down towards bot, where the Karthus can't just bully him. Darshan has not been spotted yet, though. If someone comes over here, this could be, you know, big surprise. Try to go for this play, but no one is on this side of the map.
His entire team has left him.
They're all gone. Darshan's just hanging out, man.
Is he gonna go once the wave is dead? I mean, this is getting a little bit weird. I guess he's just soaking experience.
Yeah.
He's just getting minion XP. He's like, all right, tower's dead, but I'm gonna be chilling here. You just have to hope you don't get spotted on the way out.
The camouflage lasts forever. As long as they don't walk right next to you there in the brush, he's cool.
Does he kill him? It's actually hilarious if he kills him.
He's going to go for it.
Is this really going to work?
Oh, he's doing it.
Darshan.
He's definitely going for it the split second. He's hoping the other recalls have finished, and we won't know if they have.
Danny flashing away. C9's bringing him back up to their own.
Isles is here.
Here comes the first strike from Karthus. Danny's gonna die to comeuppance, tries to heal through it, it doesn't matter. Inspired being locked down, 1v3, double kill Darshan.
It's the long gone secret agent Darshan camping out in the brushes there. Comes away with a double kill on the 300 IQ play. Waited till the last second there on the recall.
And we were showing the graphics earlier of how old school these players are, playing back in 2015 and
Like
whatnot.
some lane swap tactics.
I was about to say, do you remember the Ackerman sitting in the brush forever? That is a straight callback to those old lane swap tactics. You sit in those brushes. These newfangled kids, Danny, they don't know about this.
Back in my day, I used to be happy to get 1 minion of experience in a whole game as a top laner. And now Darshan not having to worry about that. He's eating good today. The ulti channeled up. Inspired knew Danny was dead, so he's just trying to escape. With that Karthus ulti plus his charged ulti, both the kills on a Darshan. He's huge.
Look, man, I might have said during the draft that if this is church, I can't read the Bible. Well, I'm a Skarner player. Of course I can't read.
Just have to see it to believe.
Loving the fact that this is working so well for Cloud9 because they completely flipped it upside down like you said. This is so derivative from what we would expect in this draft and in this game, and it's led Cloud9 to a 2,000 gold lead 11 minutes into the game.
I mean, this is an insane position for Cloud9. Looking at it from EG's perspective, how do you slow this down? Because no turrets have been broken yet. Still 11 minutes in. It is a 2K gold lead. We'll see if they can make a play here.
Man, they're looking for JoJo, and they're going to find him real easy there. He's already dead, but it is a 1-for-1. Make it 1-for-2 almost, but not quite. Blabber barely gets away. Super Mega Death Rocket going to be intercepted there by Isles, and Vulcan manages to get it with a Winter's Bite at the last second. Impact is mad. He's going after Tryndamere. EG brings this game right back into their own.
We was just talking about what EG can do. Well, 5v5s is what your team comp is going to have the advantage in.
Yeah.
Karthus' ult was not up yet, so even though he's still doing his farming Karthus strategy, that was legitimately not in your advantage. And they just ended up so close to the turret. There were not great targets for them to focus down, and you get to see how dangerous it is for C9 to pick even man fights.
Yeah, they're kind of lucky that Vulcan is the one picking up these kills, I will say. He's got a couple of kills there for himself, but yeah, going in here onto JoJo, but a lot of EG members were in the area and do a pretty good job actually buying time. Impact, body slam, flash, ults to spread him out there, and Inspired is just going to work here with that Braum passive constantly being reapplied. Mega Death Rocket comes through. Vulcan sees the angle, flash Q to finish that off is really nice aggressive play from here. And then even chasing down Fudge. C9 are on the Dragon, but EG are here.
EG's trying to fight it. JoJo's made his way over now
No
as
flash
well.
on Blabber.
Blabber has no flash. He's not getting out. Isles can at least run away from this one, but that will be the Drake over to C9, but a kill back for EG. Sven gets over the wall. JoJo's still looking for him. Goes for a flash. He's got the root. The zap comes out. A double kill for Rise. But now JoJo's got to get out of town.
Fine.
Yes, the Karthus ulti will find him, but it's not strong enough early on.
Yeah, and he was just hit, so it's unlikely that he even got any gold out of that. So the passive would have been turned off from his rune. Inspire going to take this. And all of a sudden, EG are ahead. They get the red buff. They get all the kills out of nowhere. Just blasting through C9 in these last couple minutes here. Yes, you still have Darshan in the advantage, but Darshan made a roam, gave up farm to do that, died on the roam. Impact got a kill. Impact's not so useless in this game anymore, and JoJo is going to be able to answer everyone in the side lane. I would actually guess he has more gold than Darshan at this point. Okay, he's down 150 or so, but like he can easily answer side lanes at this point now. And C9 basically have kind of like lost control completely.
We see a dive coming in too now on Fudge.
Okay, Fudge, let's see if he can get away from it. Inspire jumps in, Wind becomes lightning, not finding the target, neither will the fissure. Fudge lets them know, good try, fellas, good try. Now, even though he escapes, remember, it's not like he can save the tower as easily. EG will continue just clearing out the last bit of the minion wave, and Danny goes to work there on the turret. There are no plates left, they just fell, and that's the green light for EG to take their second turret of the game.
And this was what I was kind of saying about not being able to take turrets for Cloud9. The map is still relatively constricted. Like, you want a really spread out map where EG is kind of pushed in a little bit more, but they're fine right now. EG can actually control a lot of these waves, not every single one, but they are not struggling to move around the map. The fact that they could get behind Fudge there for a potential dive, force him off that turret, like, they are in a decent position.
I'm really just waiting to see if JoJo is going to go Fimbulwinter second. Everfrost Tabbies, if he's going towards armor stacking, I think C9 really loses a lot of their options in this game because I just don't think that Akshan or Tryndamere can pressure an armor stacking Rise in the side lane. You have infinite wave clear, you have so much mana. A lot of your damage is scaling through the maximum mana, so that Frozen Heart Fimbulwinter build becomes very, very powerful, and it's just really difficult to actually punish that.
Plus, it's so easy for him to guarantee that he gets the immobilized with the point-and-click Rune Prison to get the extra shield from Fimbulwinter as well. Ranged champions do have that limitation that it can't just be a slow, it must be a hard immobilize. But for Rise, it's not a big deal. So JoJo, keeping this itemization up, will keep checking in on it as the game moves forward. Still dead even in terms of gold. Cloud9 have multiple players here in mid lane. Isles flashes in, he finds the hook, but it's only onto Vulcan. Wind becomes lightning, Isles loses some HP. EG does not want to fully commit only onto the enemy support. They already knew they were outnumbered. Their goal was to hold the line, and they did it.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. You know that Darshan's not showing on the map. Play defensive until you can see that Akshan again, because he's probably lurking around the rest of his team. And I think EG is playing this pretty heads up after a surprise. They got thrown a curveball in the draft in the early game, but they've recovered themselves and are most likely in the driver's seat now with Rift Herald up. You know they're going to force around that, and we already talked about the better 5v5. And JoJo Fion is respecting that. He's saying, I'm the only option for Cloud9 right now. I'm going to play safe.
Yep, as soon as he saw ward drop there, he knows they're getting something on the other side of the map. They're already onto this Herald. And remember, you need an additional member to actually come to the side lane to even stop that. Akshan and Tryndamere cannot stop the Rise ulti. They don't have any hard CC to actually be able to do anything with that. So unless Nautilus or Udyr is there, even if he's losing a fight, ulti out.
Well, and when you talk about, these side laners collapsing, neither of them have TP. This is not like we're going to pick a lot of fights, we're going to collapse on these split pushers. They are the AFK split pushers. You just let them go. You turn them loose on the map for good luck. They're not teammates, they're bots. They only go to their lanes and push. Without the TPs, they're not really looking to make super coordinated plays.
And it is going to be Fimbulwinter. He's gotten the extra Ruby Crystal on top of the Kindle Gem, so should be building towards that. And expecting Frozen Heart third, expecting the Rise to be incredibly difficult to deal with. Yes, Sven is farming at a pretty good clip here. He's above 10 CS per minute, so that is very nice. But their 5v5 is really tough to execute for Cloud9. So if you're not playing this kind of comp from way ahead, EG just has a really big advantage. And EG has been so solid when playing from a lead throughout this series.
Double Fimbulwinter, double Everfrost for the solo laners, and those Everfrosts, especially for Udyr and Tryndamere, can be such a pain in the ass to deal with. They lock you down, you're never allowed to maneuver around the team fights as these pure melee champions. It's so difficult to find the response you need. Danny now still just continuing to clear out waves in mid as Cloud9 has multiple men here. And Inspired's going to back off towards the river. There is a dragon about to spawn. EG know that these 5v5s are where they're feeling good, and they're daring Cloud9 to come stop.
A little surprised to see Cloud9 actually move all their members down to this bot jungle area to contest the Drake that just spawned. Rift Herald's going to give them mid-push. They're going to get this for free, and they can fall back onto that dragon. I would think that Cloud9 would be spending this time split pushing, but they're actually looking to contest this objective.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is Cloud9 has no vision. When you look at the minimap now, they've lost full control. You know, what's their furthest forward ward? There's one here. There's like one down here. They got nothing, right? You can't split push when you can't see past mid.
Isles is already getting jumped on. Super Mega Death Rocket flies out. It won't find the target, so Isles is still alive. Danny and Inspired now have to deal with Fudge going towards them. Inspired's going to be focused first. Darshan going after Danny, but he gets away with the Gale Force. Fudge still in the Endless Rage, trying to get some sort of a kill anywhere. Inspired now running away, but he's stuck in the middle of 4. He cannot get it. Cloud9 lose 1 but kill 2. The Drake is still alive now as well. Danny's hanging out mid. Darshan jumping in, looking for the kill, and he gets them! A double kill for the Cloud9 top laner, and Evil Geniuses collapse against Cloud9.
Cloud9 not ready to give up on this game quite yet. They contest the dragon, and the most important thing was how they split EG up.
Yeah.
Multiple members of EG tunneled on finishing off the Nautilus, the least important member of the fight, and it opened up the backline for the members of Cloud9 to find these opportunities, these split fights, and in those situations, they are going to win a lot of them. You see how quickly Darshan dismantles Danny. He's still 6-1. We're talking about the gold league getting close to even, but there are still mismatches on the Rift.
Absolutely. I mean, it's as you say, it's all about setting up the skirmishes. You know, Fudge here on one side. They're chasing Isles up here, but you know, multiple members from EG are down on the bottom side, and you get a 2v2 between Danny and Inspired and Darshan and Fudge. The two solo laners are going to win that. Danny is in full-on retreat. He does escape, but he's not really able to contribute a lot to the fight. And despite Inspired doing a commendable job kiting around, slowing, using that Gore Drinker to live as long as possible, he does get chased down.
And just great use of the camouflage mechanics there by Darshan. He ends the fight, or so Danny thinks, ends the fight, finishing off Inspired, and he sneaks right back through into the lane and gets another cleanup kill on the back end of that fight, bringing the gold lead pretty heavily into their favor. They've also started dropping some of these turrets now.
Oh, look at Karthus.
Holy moly, man. We didn't even talk about him in the fight, but low-key kind of won it for him, right? With the ultimate and then the fact that he was in that chase down sequence on the other side of the fight while we were tunneling on the solo laners. You still got to respect the Karthus.
Well, that's kind of who the solo laners bought time for, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important, is that when Karthus is not threatened, he can get that much damage out. When Danny and Inspired and these guys are spending their whole fight running from Tryndamere and Akshan, well, gives a lot of time for Sven, and he made the most of it there. He has the Shadow Flame completed now, so a lot of flat pen. That is just a smart build to go. When you have a lot of physical damage threats, guess what kind of boots you're going to see? You're going to see the metal boots here across the board. 4 Digitabbies coming through, and it's going to be armor stacking on top of that. So you go for flat pen boots, flat pen on the Shadow Flame, and you're going to do really a tremendous amount of damage.
Cloud9 now has the opportunity to take down another Tier 1 turret here in the bottom lane. They're working towards what you guys were talking about, opening up that map, making it so they can pull EG around and make them play their split push game instead. Inspired chasing after Isles, looking for the kill here. Super Mega Death Rocket finds it that time, and JoJo's the one on a rampage. Now Blabber and Sven are rotating over. Darshan does not get caught out, still just trying to hold the wave up here in the top side. Tier 2 turret under pressure. The minions aren't going to last much longer, so EG can't get this one just yet. The next wave is pretty far away.
Yeah, good job by Cloud9 finding the pick off in the jungle and kind of playing around JoJo, moving resources around him. He's the strongest member on your team, and just making sure that if you have more men around, hold on.
Well, speaking of having more men around, JoJo tries to get away. Everfrost onto 2. Fudge keeps on chasing, he still gets the slow. JoJo's running away to the rest of his team. He will stay alive.
I can feel the gears grinding in C9's head, like, do we pull the trigger on the Karthus ult? Is he gonna die? Will we get him? End up not shooting that one out. I believe it's off cooldown, so could have used that for potential cleanup, but I think they just knew that he was a little too tanky to finish off.
Yeah, and with the Braum coming in, Braum has Locket and Guardian,
yeah,
right? So that would have been easily enough to probably protect him. And it is a very long cooldown, so it always hurts to use and not get anything from it. But, some big completions are coming through for C9. We talked about the Shadow Flame. Deathcap third is absolutely, I think, the right choice here. You don't need a Void Staff in a game like this. No one's stacking MR. Quick Blade's always going to help you chase down. As that Tryndamere, resetting your cooldowns off of those crits does give you the ability to chase down these members. And Storm Razor plus Rapid Fire is a really popular side laney / assassination type build for Akshan because you have so much move speed, and now the slowdown with this allows you to get this upfront burst, this big slowdown, and really just help finish off those kills fast.
Winter now done for both of the solo laners. It just completed for Impact on the side of EG. JoJo also going towards that Frozen Heart as the third item, just like you were talking about earlier. So effective against all these physical damage, attack speed heavy champions on the enemy team. Karthus the only one not really impeded by that one. So more and more pressure on Sven as this game moves forward to contribute a lot of the overall damage when they do have to do these team fights.
I really like a lot of the itemization choices this game. I think people are actually being very smart. I think Bloodthirster third for Danny makes a lot of sense. Yeah, IE is great, but there's a lot of poke damage coming through from something like a Karthus ult. If you don't have any sort of lifesteal, you can just get poked out before the fight even starts.
Well, and speaking about intelligent builds, Sven is going death cap. He's not picking up Azanias, which is a very typical item for Karthuses because they want to flash in with their team and stay alive longer. He knows my job is to one-shot people. I want to blow people up in side lanes. He's not changing up his build path.
Pen and AP.
He does not care about his own survivability, and he's already got 600 damage from the True Strike. I was just checking in on that. So getting a fair amount of extra gold so far through this game.
And it's one of those builds where, if you have Deathcap completed, even if you die in a fight, if you can get on top of JoJo and Danny when you die, like, they cannot enter that zone at all. That becomes a no-go completely. And you see Tryndamere split pushing up in the top lane. Fudge trying to take this down, but JoJo is up here, and we'll see if he can get the chase down.
He's got the root, looking for a little bit more, gives him the thumbs up, lets him know. Fudge running away, he's popping the ghost. He wants nothing to do with this, but JoJo can run just as fast. A 4v4 in the bottom side river at the same time. Nobody's going to be taken low in that one just yet. Fudge going to start channeling the TP back. Well, not a TP, a recall. Super Mega Death Rocket tries to interrupt it, but it won't find the target. EG now grabs their second Drake of the game, ties him up at 2-2.
Yeah, no way for Josephine to hop walls quite like the Tryndamere can, so a little bit of advantage in the runaway sequence, but the fact that neither of them have a chance to contribute to that 4v4 means that C9 just sack it. But the important thing is Cloud9 already have two of their own dragons. There's no soul point coming anytime soon, which means Elder Drake is a far distance away into the future, and they're not under too much of a clock right now.
Yeah, and even though he can't chase him down, he has Realm Warp to join, so he's moving down towards bot. So that says, all right, C9, you can no longer fight. There's no TP on your mid laner. Fudge is back to base, so if they try to actually commit there, all of a sudden, Realm Warp into the back line, you lose the 5v4, you die, you lose Baron, GG. So it does get them that dragon from the pressure, and we'll see how heavily they want to commit to this, because Frozen Heart is now done, and this really is that point where it starts to feel like Ryze cannot be hurt, and he has so much flat mana that his damage is still exceptionally threatening. There's no way Karthus can go to the side lane to answer him. Like, that's just not what the comp is, so it's going to be a lot harder for Darshan and Fudge now.
Gold graph shows a little bit of red there for a very little while, but among mountains of blue, my friends, Cloud9 commanding the lead in most of this game, and compared to the previous two, that's very impressive.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, that might look like a bit of a scary gold graph. It's up, it's down, we're having a close game. The other two were not close at all, so much better position for Cloud9, and from here, how many people can really say exactly how to play this game out optimally? I do think it means that there's not a huge team advantage for EG in terms of their cohesion and things like this.
Okay, Realm Warp ends up getting the flash out of Sven, so Karthus not having that escape mechanism anymore. Again, coupled with the fact, like you said earlier, there's no Zonias on him. Sven gets caught, he's done.
And honestly, even as an offensive tool, it's massive, because the way you team fight is by positioning as the Karthus, right? And having that flash, often if you are going for a fully committed 5v5, allows you to get in there, die in an optimal spot, and get massive amounts of damage out with your passive.
I mean, it is also really important in the idea of Baron forcing, because without the TPs for Cloud9, like, they have to actually collapse and run across the map, and if Karthus can't kind of flash in and force people off Baron and maybe lead to some cleanup kills in a long chase down sequence, it's actually a lot harder to stop them from just brute forcing the Baron, because it takes so long to get the waves up to the bot lane turret to really be in a position where if EG do move to Baron, they actually need to worry about losing their base.
Let's see what Cloud9 can keep doing with this split pressure. Fudge level 16 here on the Tryndamere. the highest leveled character in the game. Impact 13, JoJo 15, Darshan 14. Fudge's Tryndamere working on that third item still. Has the Gale Force, has the Quick Blades, like you already pointed out, for those extra cooldown reductions, extra chasing potential. But man, these guys are getting tanky on the other side. He's going to have to be able to continue to find that way into the backline, find his way onto Danny, find that valuable target there, or just be able to sack the team fights like we looked at the last Dragon, saying we don't want to play that at all, who cares? Run it down that side lane.
I think JoJo is also even just going Force of Nature, so he's just going to get some MR to actually deal with the Karthus burst. Additional move speed on that item there too. And it's just all about playing side lane, answering sides, setting up for 5v5. EG want to play this slow and steady. They want to fight once every 5 minutes at a Dragon. Whereas Cloud9 have got to find scrappy fights, 1v1s, 2v2s, 2v1s. These are the kind of things that they're looking for where they can find an edge.
And I would love to see Cloud9 start using the camouflage on the Akshan to shadow the Tryndamere. If Tryndamere's ever moving up the lane, that is totally sacking pressure on one side of the map to make that play. As we see another Realm Warp.
Oh, and here's Finn. This is what we're talking about. If he's caught, he's dead, but no! He gets away. They missed the last overload coming out. Oh, the locket! Oh, and the locket saves him. Impact can't guarantee it either. C9 defends, everybody stays alive.
Man, Inspire really messed that up. He actually saved him with his ulti. He knocked him away. I think he thought he must have had the challenge on Karthus, but he did not. So instead, he knocks him right to safety. That would have been a guaranteed kill on the Karthus, and they committed quite a lot to that. That's the flash, the TP, the ulti, all from Impact. So maybe you can 5v5 now at this next Dragon if you're C9.
Darshan's off to the side. Oh. They're looking to see if they can catch C9 here. Blabber goes in early. He's going to take a lot of damage. Already down to half HP, and he's about to get stunned up. Cloud9 is struggling in the 5v5. Vendai's in a good spot right on top of everybody else. Isle's going to be taken down next. The ulti might find two. Vulcan goes first. The burn on JoJo is burning him away. EG still 4 men alive. Darshan, he's trying to cut them off, or at least cut the wave, maybe. EG has so much time. Darshan goes in. Darshan goes down. C9 collapses. And it's EG with the ace.
EG undefeated through the tournament, sweeping Cloud9 out of it. What a final team fight. That is all it took. Despite all of Cloud9's hard work, the game will end in under 30 minutes.
EG keeping their promise alive. Gonna see if they can keep it in the finals, happening just tomorrow. There's a quick turnaround time for this team, but they look incredible so far through lock-in.
And I really love the adaptations from both teams in Game 3. It was Cloud9 who said, all right, this will not be a traditional game of League of Legends. We're going to put you through the solo queue ringer. We're going to do Tryndamere. We're going to do Udyr. We're going to do Akshan. But the response from EG, the early roams from Vulcan, the response from the bottom lane as a whole, including Danny, to be able to rotate around and make these 5v5s happen, EG had a plan for this. They responded. And when Cloud9 tried to go in and punish the failed engage mid lane at the very end, you're still a split comp against a 5v5 comp, and EG just blasts them.
The big problem with that team fight too was Isles was over the wall, failed his Hex Flash, hooked right into the corner of the wall, and so Blabber's stuck in there by himself, and that's where the fight went wrong. He's like, I'm Udyr, where's my Nautilus? And that was a tough situation, but I like the idea of the engage, Cloud9 understanding with all those tools down, it's now or never, let's pick a fight.
Yeah, but EG I also think deserve a lot of credit for how they actually positioned in that fight. They have double Everfrost, they have the super tanky solo laners, so using those to actually buy space for the Jinx, and the entire fight just looks like this. Frontline, Danny. And then over there is Cloud9, and Danny was free firing. He didn't go below 100% HP until he took damage from the Karthus ultimate. He was just perfectly positioned, maximum DPS through that entire fight, and that is why it's so hard to fight through this. Like, how do you get past the Braum, the Everfrost Gragas, the Everfrost Rise, and this Xin Zhao as all these, like, kind
it's a quarterback with
champions.
4 linebackers. There's just no way to get to him.
And we didn't say his name very much that entire
Lineman.
game.
I know sports.
There you go. But it was like we didn't say Danny's name for almost the entire game until the last team fight, because there's all this crazy stuff in the solo lanes. There's all these weird things.
Quietly scaling.
You get to see why you have these kind of standard meta team comps is because come late game, you get this 4 protect 1, and Danny's just ripping people apart.
There was so much back and forth throughout that game. Just the fact that in that mid game, that little trough of red, even that we saw in the gold graph, where Cloud9 was able to say, okay, we're jumping back into this game after the bad early. or EG was able to say it against Cloud9, excuse me. It was such a fun game to watch. I love the fact that Cloud9 pivoted so dramatically, but it wasn't enough to take down the absolute monster that was EG. We're headed for a quick break. On the other side, La Tigris will be joined by Vulcan for the Verizon post-game interview. We'll see you back here in just a few moments.
Peace.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so.
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
Initializing legendary moments.
Take a look while you can, because if you blink, you'll miss it.
I'm sure you've heard the news.
Gold, gold, and more gold.
Here comes the big play. Oh, that's perfect timing. You can see this one coming.
They get what they need. They got the mid. They got the support. They got the top.
Are they gonna give you some fun League of Legends? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome to the LCS.
FTX, official cryptocurrency exchange partner of the LCS.
Sequence complete.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the LCS Lock-In Tournament, where EG complete the sweep, remain undefeated, 3-0 over Cloud9. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but if you don't have dinner plans, maybe we can make some real quick.
We should.
EG made quick work of Cloud9, and we've got a whole evening to ourselves now.
Where do you want to go, Dash?
I don't know.
What's
What
your
are we
restaurant
thinking?
recommendation?
What's an evil restaurant destination?
Cloud9.
To sell it.
They fed the whole
They
game.
fed the whole thing.
EG is very
They might be out of stock on food, though,
satiated
with all
right
the
now.
feeding that they did here today. Emily, talk.
Can we just bring up how well Darshan actually did play
Monster.
in this game? Because,
Absolute
you know, obviously with this composition that C9 does have, it's kind of instrumental that he absolutely makes that top lane a volatile place. And you know what we talked about, what Impact has done this entire series is be steady. Well, they made it so that he was kept down and Darshan got massively ahead.
Of course, in this replay, that's when EG starts to fight back, but
Yeah.
you're right. Like, my favorite moment of the game was literally as the three-man unit of EG takes top turret, and he's just chilling in the side bush waiting. And then, like, he's waiting, he gets those 2 kills off the reset on his E. So, like, yeah, he was monstrously ahead, but Evil Geniuses recognized how to fight from in a deficit, so they were able to take the previous fight. Also even harking back to the draft, Braum,
What a wild
Gragas,
draft.
it was a journey, and the disengage really helped EG get back into this one.
Yeah, I specifically did like the Braum and the Gragas into the double melee of Udyr Tryndamere, but what's your verdict now? Because when I was first seeing the first 3 picks of that draft, first off, Udyr being first picked, I thought it was Spring Split 2021 again.
Yeah.
And then when they just hard locked Auction Tryndamere, I'm wondering if they just had enough with the series and wanted the regular season to start. But then they had their actual best game of the series. So what's the verdict now for you guys on the draft being like a try-hard win, or just like we're literally out of ideas, get us out of here?
I mean, I think it's not we're out of ideas. It's okay, we have this idea that might work in a series where we are getting kind of slammed by the coordination of our opponents, right? So I actually don't hate the idea, especially since you know, we didn't see the Ziggs ban coming through.
True.
We didn't see a Karthus ban coming through. So theoretically, even though, you know, Tryndamere and Udyr are gonna kind of, you know, fall off a little bit, the Karthus and the fact that Akshan got ahead were enough to theoretically win the game.
If it were Game 5, wouldn't have liked it so much, right? Because I don't like, you know, throwing an entire series, you know, into kind of what feels somewhat coin flippy, right, to a degree in terms of a composition. But by the same token, I actually do like that they pulled it against the perceived best team in the league. Because if you are going to test a strategy, don't test it against somebody that you already presume you're going to beat. and get bad data on whether or not the composition is going to work. Give it a shot against a team that you know is going to challenge you and push you to play the comp to perfection. And then, okay, you fell short even with a lead. Now you can evaluate the composition, I think, a little bit more fully about how valuable, how effective it is.
And I want to reiterate that destabilizing the top lane, I don't think was a bad call here, right? Because, again, like we've looked at the volatile points on the map for EG and where they like to focus, and it's typically mid and bot. And making sure the impact isn't that steady, I think was actually really important.
We're going to come back and talk more, plenty more about this. But for now, we're hopping over to Tigris, who's standing by with Vulcan in the Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you, Dash. Got to get some words from the man himself in our Verizon post-game interview. EG Vulcan, thank you so much for joining me. I gotta know, we saw the emotes across the rift. What was it like for you getting to play against Cloud9 in this semifinal?
I'd say it was pretty fun, honestly, playing against like my friends there. We had like some funny, I wouldn't say trash talk, but like funny talk in the lobby before the game started, and I actually had emotes muted, so I couldn't see like the interactions, but I was spamming my emotes a little bit when something funny happened. So yeah, it was fun.
Oh my gosh, I feel like that's pretty savage to automatically mute any potential response there could be. You brought some of that savage nature coming into this matchup as well, already declaring that this was going to be a 3-0. How confident were you that that was truly going to be the final result?
Very confident, honestly. I feel like Cloud9 hasn't looked too hot this lock-in, and obviously they're not using their main lineup. So yeah, and I feel like we have pretty high level now. Obviously, as you saw in those games, it was a little bit shaky, but yeah, I think we're very strong, and we're just getting started, right? So it hasn't been that long as a team. So yeah, all in all, very confident in the day. I guess I'm just excited to see their other lineup now, because this one was a bit of a letdown.
You say that, but there were some moments in game number 3. Darshan, for instance, getting a cheeky double kill over in the top side. Another one later on. You continued to bring some of that trash talk onto the Twitter sphere after this matchup. So did you ever worry, even with that being said, though, that they might mount a comeback in that game 3?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we might lose game 3 because they picked something very funny, and we kind of had to problem-solving game, right? Since something we never played against before. So, I mean, I thought we might drop that game, but even then, I feel like we just go into the next draft and ban some champions, Action maybe. And then I feel like we would have just closed out the series after their cheese picks claimed 1 win, then we just move on.
We're seeing some of those changes in drafts for multiple reasons. We're on 12.2. You played the Tahm Kench, which you've played again in the past, but still bringing it back now. We've seen the Senna yesterday. What are your thoughts on these different champions that are being brought into the ever-developing meta?
Yeah, I mean, I like playing Tom. It's like a love-hate relationship that I have with him. He's kind of fun these days just because it's been a long time, you know, so it's like having an old friend back and enjoying time with him. And it's pretty chill, and people don't really play around his W too well, so I was able to get a 1 kill in lane in that game that we played. So it's fun, I think. Obviously, when there's a new champ, it's always fun to play something new and not just always have the same boring meta. I think something new always makes it a bit more spicy, and then, yeah, I thought their game 3 draft was pretty spicy at that as well.
Hey, you get to play your friends over on Cloud9. You get to play your friend Tahm Kench there in the bot lane. And I know with this team, we've been kind of tracking how are you going to gel. We saw Impact really continuing to be that stabilizing force for EG in the top lane. A lot of play through bot, a lot of play through mid. Do you feel that you are all kind of having this moment of developing your individual identities and what you contribute to the goals of this squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, yeah, like you said, developing like, I call it like a playbook where by the end of my time at C9, I could just say a few words and everyone would be on the same page about what I want to do and what we want to do as a team. And obviously, moving to a new team now, I can say a few words and like my teammates won't know what's going on and what I'm trying to say. So yeah, just trying to develop like our playbook, being able to communicate more efficiently is like our priorities right now. And yeah, kind of like what you said, I feel like we have a pretty balanced team and we're able to play through any role, and just depending on the draft, we'll obviously play differently and allocate resources differently. And I think we're pretty versatile. So yeah, we're looking pretty good.
You have another opportunity to continue developing that playbook in your next best of 5. It is the lock-in finals facing off against Team Liquid. What did you make of their series yesterday and the opponents that they force, or the opponents they will be against you and the rest of the EG squad?
The series yesterday was funny. It was like River versus Whippo in a 1v1 boxing ring. It was funny to watch. I don't know. Last time they played against us, they tried to put in Core JJ. Didn't work out. So I feel like maybe they'll keep in Whippo this time while they're waiting for the green card to come in by post. I don't know. I feel like until they have their full lineup, they probably can't win. So we'll see tomorrow.
You gave your prediction for this matchup. What is your official prediction for that matchup?
Probably a 3-1. They can have a game.
Okay, being a little lenient this time around. Vulcan, thank you so much for stopping by for the interview.
Thank you.
More for us to talk about when it comes to this particular matchup, so let's send things back on over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, the Tigris. He'll spot him a game.
Just one game.
He'll spot him one game in the finals.
Let's make it interesting.
I feel like Vulcan feels about Tom Kench the way that I feel about Jat.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's nice to be reunited
You're holding on to that one.
with an old friend.
Yeah.
It's good to have you here and all of that. But it's also nice to shake things up every once in a while.
Yeah, after week 3, though.
The question is, what? Yeah, week 3, I'll be sick of Jat. But right now, it's great. I kid. The other thing within that interview that I actually kind of wanted to touch on briefly is that point around communication and how he pointed out that at least when he was on C9 and he felt like they were playing at their best, their level of communication was such that he would only maybe have to say a couple of words and everyone knows immediately and very specifically what it is he wants to do. And that, you know, obviously EG will get better if they can get to that point. I would say, holy crap, they already look amazing, though, if this is poor communication EG, if this is the EG that's trying to figure out how to get onto the same page.
I mean, we might not always see that reflected on the Rift, right? Like, it could be that their comms are, like, a little bit muddy. Like, I know the three of us have talked about comm systems before and how, you know, some people might not feel as comfortable talking or some people might feel too comfortable talking. I think the big thing for them is that they're already looking this good and they themselves have said that there's still so much to go.
You're right.
Really hints at how good this team can potentially be.
And also just their ability to adapt when they're in a bad situation, right? Like in this specific game, Impact is being farmed top lane, and he finds a way out, TPs to bot wave, and they swap up lane. Yeah. So like that was very clear, and then in those decisions, and also I expected this team to be a lot more gambit heavy, taking more chances, right? And there's still instances of it, but not so much that it's ruining games, right?
They haven't had to,
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, it looks great for EG right now, and just as a little bit with Vulcan's statement there, it's like he's excited to see C9 with their full team that we'll be seeing in, in week 1, week 2.
Is that a holdover assumption from the Jizuke version of EG, though, that they will play more in that fashion?
Well, I know that I was watching Jojo Pyon's game in Academy, and I was kind of expecting those gambits to play over. And also by the end of last split, it felt like they were a lot more disciplined in how they were playing, even with Jizuke, and he was playing insane in the regular season. So yeah, they're keeping to a disciplined gameplay, and I hope if they can continue to do that while not pulling so far back that they're not taking risks, this is an insane team.
Well, you mentioned JoJo. We've been shouting his name from the rooftops. We're going to do it one more time. Picks up player of the series for this 3-0 dominant showing, EG over Cloud9. The kid continues to impress. He does it on multiple different picks. Everything from the Yasuo, right, in game number 1 to the Rise in game number 3.
Yeah, being able to really pull out a plethora of different styles. All of his champions, even when he's playing Victor, he is playing very aggressively.
Yes.
And it's working very well in tandem with the rest of the team. Everyone trying to play up. And JoJo, he was just completely on point today, as you can see from the stats.
It's incredible, right? How far forward he can play up, and maybe he misses out in some moments, like when he went up against Lux, destroyed him, TP'd back, and then J4 got the gank on him. Yeah. But like throughout the series, he was just playing phenomenally. Really deserving of the player of the series.
Without a doubt. And he and the rest of EG, they've got one more series that separates them from picking up and hoisting that first trophy here in the lock-in finals. It's up against the defending lock-in champs of Team Liquid from last time around. That will be tomorrow at 12:30 PST, so make sure you mark your calendars for the start of it all. Emily, your thoughts on this finals matchup we've got?
I think it's going to be great. If I'm correct, Jet, are you the only person who correctly predicted the final.
No, I had 100
No, because he had 100 Thieves there.
Because you have to like blind pick based on the 2 groups. So
Yeah.
you
Right.
expect
So I
2
feel like
teams from the same group to be through to the finals.
The finals.
Someone picked TL,
So Freak has EG, I have TL.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone else
All
picked
right.
100 Thieves.
So it's the battle between
So,
Freak and
yeah, currently I'm less wrong than everybody else except for Freak.
Yes.
And one of us will be.
Wow, what
Right.
a, what a
Yeah,
place
you
to
guys
be.
are
Yeah.
equivalently right or wrong.
It's
however
true,
you want to
because we
look at
both
it.
also picked
Everybody
Thieves
else
in
is
the
flatly
final.
wrong.
Real quick
No,
though, the turnaround time is pretty quick.
Yes.
Being in this situation last year, it's interesting because it actually is good practice if you're expecting your team to go really far. So like the NA playoff format, if you're coming from the losers bracket, you will have to do this back-to-back day of best-of-5 planning. Also, I know like a lot of MSI finals go from semifinals to finals in this short time.
Yeah.
But if you compare it to like the winners final, waiting in finals, sometimes you have 2 weeks to prepare for best-of-5. So it's a super short turnaround time. I don't expect much to change.
So, as best you can without revealing details, but by revealing process, like take it back to like at the beginning of this week, let's say, right? You're your coach of EG, and you know that you have this best of 5 against Cloud9, and then assuming a victory, a matchup against the winner of the other best of 5. What does your week look like? Where does the prep start? Where are those responsibilities delegated?
I mean, so for this particular week, I know that they had to switch patches.
Right.
So they switched patches, and their first game was going to be on a Saturday. So they probably took Monday off. So they have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's at least 20 scrims. You can add extra scrims if you're going to do like night blocks or something, which I kind of doubt teams are doing for lock-in because they don't want to burn out. So I'm going to say you have 20 games.
Okay.
You would hopefully make a list of the champions that you want to at least experiment with. That list can't be very big, because you're going to need to get multiple reps on like any of the champions that would be experimentation. And for the most part, you're not actually making a game plan. I mean, who knows what they're doing? You're not really making a game plan until like Thursday or Friday, because the first few days are just experimentation and trying to learn the patch.
Exactly. And I think especially early on in the season, and even with the one-day turnaround, you're just focusing on yourself, what you believe to be the strongest picks in the meta, what your failures are in terms of like, if you're failing a set play, like Rift Herald is usually the most consistent one that you'd have to go over, then that's really what you're focusing on, rather than like, specifically versus this team, this is how we want to play before the draft meeting.
What is nice about this is since all the teams that are out of lock-in are still going to be scrimming for the start of season, they can at least get more variety in opponents.
Lots of partners.
In playoffs, sometimes you're shrunk to like 1 or 2 teams, so your meta read can
Trying
get
to avoid
small.
your direct opponents.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's every team in the LCS, so I'm pretty sure they would have booked 4 separate opponents.
Very cool, very cool. Emily, I want to pull you on one final piece, which is that we heard Vulcan say he'll spot TL a game. Talk to me about the world in which TL is able to actually hand this EG lineup their first loss, because that's, I think, the important thing to recognize. They're walking into this undefeated. Nobody has figured it out yet.
So I'm still looking at top lane only because it seems like the lane that EG wants to be the most consistently stable, and also because in their previous match, it was basically like Pwipo was obviously the star, and he's going to be pulling out a lot of things that force his opponent to react to it. I think Impact of all tops is incredibly experienced, so I think he loses very gracefully even when he is targeted, but I'm curious to see how the rest of EG would respond to a similar game plan like that.
Go ahead.
I was just about to say, like, the fact that 2 of the best top laners in the tournament are going up against each other. You already saw the emojis on the screen. It's going to be JoJo versus Bjergsen.
That's where I was going to go.
The rematch from what they were playing earlier in group stage. Like, those 2 matchups are the one I care about.
All right.
Like, I'm tunnel visioning on both mid and top lane. So that's what I need.
You say that, and then as you say that, I'm like, yeah, but then you got to think about River and Santorin and how they're going to affect those. Okay, all right. We'll isolate to the 2 solo lanes. We'll see what happens. I think we are in for a very special best of 5 finals tomorrow, but that's going to do it for us here today. So on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right, so dinner plans.
Good evening.
Where are we going? Burgers?
Go.
Steaks?
Yeah.
What should we do?
There comes your lockdown. Isle's going to be the target. He tries to go right back in. Vulcan's going to be taken low, but a massive multi-ulti coming out from JoJo. And Cloud9 is getting mopped up. Danny goes into the stasis to keep himself alive. Darshan's gonna be controlled, but not long enough. Vulcan goes back over the wall trying to make it happen. He flashes away and lets them know, you shouldn't have let me go! The Cloud9 BM versus his old team.
No, here's Blabber.
Oh, nice combo there from Cloud9. JoJo might have got a better buy, but Cloud9's got a second guy. First blood. Impact just trying to stand and fight this a little bit. Drops the W. Gwen is immune, and Fudge is about to learn it the hard way.
I mean, I don't think we're really scared of anyone now. Yeah, I don't think we're going to drop the game, so.
Blabber's going to be chased down, and Fudge is about to be taken off the menu as JoJo uses the stasis to survive any sort of a potential burst from Blabber. He's going to teleport right back on top of him and find the damage too. JoJo says, get over here! Ace! For EG. Blabber has no flash. He's not getting out. Isles can at least run away from this one, but that will be the Drake over to C9, but a kill back for EG. Sven gets over the wall. JoJo's still looking for him. Goes for a flash. He's got the root. The zap comes out. A double kill for Rise. Cloud9 is struggling in the 5v5s. Sven dies in a good spot right on top of everybody else. Isle's going to be taken down next. The ulti might find two. Vulcan goes first. The burn on JoJo is burning him away. EG still 4 men alive. Darshan, he's trying to cut them off, or at least cut the wave, maybe. EG has so much time. Darshan goes in. Darshan goes down. C9 collapses. And it's EG with the ace.